Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have the greatest pleasure to be the host of today's meeting. Today here with me is Peterem Moosgaard, and co-author of the work entitled Medniks. He studied philosophy and digital art in Vienna. He comes from Austria, and he was an art director of the Medniks work. Together with Karin Ferrari and Bernhard Garnicnig. And I would like to greet you guys very much also, as we couldn't meet here at WRO personally, so let's maybe make a short wave to Karin and to Bernhard. Thank you guys for doing such an amazing work, and we are honored to present it here during the 19th Media Art Biennale WRO 2021 REVERSO. And as our conversation will revolve around the themes present in Medniks, I would like to present a short excerpt of the video and start from that. So let's play the video right now.
A random thought pops into Peter's head. Where does lithium actually come from? Immediately, a text message from the smart fridge pops up. Milk out. Get milk. Now Peter wonders, where does milk actually come from? Milk and lithium come actually from the same place, Wolfsburg, Thuringia, the land of milk and lithium. A Google ad about Wolfsburg auto starts, leading to weird videos in YouTube's recommendation feature. Below a piece of land, owned by Gaston Glock, is Europe's biggest lithium mine. Lithium is used in batteries and in psychopharmacology as a mood stabilizer. The common presence of the element lithium in products on the extreme pulse of the hyper-capitalist regime suggests a mysterious connection between communication technologies, consumer capitalism, depression, and vaporwave. All phenomena somehow connected to anomalous behavior in the flow of time. Peter gets curious about Wolfsburg, the land of milk and lithium. He feels weirdly drawn towards it, and wants to go there. But is this trip really necessary? Knows what's really out there? The weather forecast in the stock market predictions are clear. This trip is indeed necessary. If they want to save their startup with a new brilliant idea, they have to go. Out of the blue, an investor offers to give them a lot of money for something that compromises their artistic vision. They totally agree, take the money, and rent a Tesla for a trip to Wolfsburg. And for the first time ever, they go beyond the old stone wall that marks the charging limit of Fontana's electric golf cars and e-bikes to Wolfsburg to find out where milk and lithium come from. A digital detox in search of their roots. The lithium mine is supposed to be in a cave, guarded by bulls, cows, the original milk. But then, oh no, the Tesla breaks down. The battery explodes. They manage to extinguish the fire with some almdudler guarana, but the battery is dead. They are all alone. There was no human settlement on the way here, just wilderness that disintegrates into a wired simulacra when unobserved. Peter wants to wait in the car, but they have to find a way to bring the battery back to life. They need to find the lithium mine. Head northwest. Carmen wonders if it was the cell phone that sucked the life out of a Tesla battery last night. Wait a moment. What a strange thought. Did the AI consciousness of the iPhone infect the Tesla and make it break down? Gustav also notices that the nature of his thoughts is changing. They all feel different. For brief moments, they feel real, like a fog has been lifted from their minds. They're wondering if this is what nature does. What they're really feeling is the effect of the lithium wearing off. They hadn't touched a tech gadget in quite a while. The digital stimulation fast makes them feel like primates, monkeys that share an Amazon account. What just happened? Where's Peter? 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 They shout his name. But the only answer they get. Up there, they finally have reception again. A text from Peter comes in. Mitniks. Mitniks. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Gustav and Carmen speculate. Is it a clue? A butt dial? A secret code? Then the phone dies.
I to był właśnie, and that was the excerpt from the Mitniks work, and if you would like to see the whole piece, it would be a part of today's replay program that will be streamed online on our YouTube channel at 8 p.m. So you will have the greatest context of this conversation today to see the Mitniks work in its whole. Peter, I would like to start from your short bio that you have updated on your open call subscription. And you wrote that you are an artist, filmmaker, and copycat. And I would like to ask you, aren't we all copycats in today's world?
Of course, because the premise is that after the internet there are no original ideas, because you would type something into Google, an idea you have, and then you would find 10 people who did it better than you. So we are all copycats, but some do it more overtly and some do it more implicitly, and some, copy things they have seen on the internet and say it is their own of some sort. But if you kind of think it differently, it's copying is a very interesting artistic practice, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and I had this whole idea while watching the Mitniks that there are a lot of copies in Mitniks, but they are not like one-to-one copies from the environment of the internet, for example, but from the whole ideas that revolve around our society. And I'm very interested. How old are you?
I'm 38.
Yes, so that would be a conversation between two millennials, because
exactly.
Yes, and this is also, I thought, pretty important for the whole notion of the work, that you guys are exploring the world of millennials, which were born on a certain times and grow up with the beginning of the internet and the flourishing of the technology itself, yes, and that made some kind of a background for very interesting things to happen right now, especially for the artists born on this period, resolving around Y2K, for example, yeah, the millennial bug, which scared us all, and we are in advantage in some way, and that is what parts us from Gen Z, for example. And I had this idea that this work is a kind of thing that millennials are making fun of Gen Z and broader of digital natives. What you think about it?
I'm not thinking it was making fun. It was more like, you're right, explicitly when making the movie, we wanted to make a movie about 3 millennials, right, who were us and who were so alienated from the world And so we wanted to find out where milk comes from and where lithium comes from, which is in batteries and also in pharmacology. So you're right, it is really a film about millennials, but I would say more that we want to kind of appeal to Generation Z a bit more with like vaporwave and with inside jokes, sort of. I mean, I don't know what Karin and Bernhard, who are the main makers of this movie and who sadly could not be here, but Bernhard and Karin are the other two who are not here today. But back to the point, for me it was more of an appeal to Generation Z, and I don't know if it is working or not, and if it is already. Vaporwave is already such the oldest thing, but maybe it is the newest thing that we could understand about Generation Z, which is like 5 years ago. So I don't know if it worked, but it was certainly not making fun. It was more making fun about millennials, us, who are completely like alienated and want to get in touch with nature, as stupid as this sounds, kind of. But we can't, as we see in the film. And the effect of our lithium that we are taking as antidepressants and the effect of our electronic gadgets is wearing off, as we saw in this piece, and we are completely lost in nature. So we have no contact to this. But yeah, the role of the millennial, as I see it, is a kind of interesting one, because I feel like we have one foot in the sort of new world order and one foot in the old world order, like the new gods and the old gods or something. Because Generation Z, they don't know anything. Of course, they know, but it's completely they're digital natives, and we are kind of not yet, we can remember things, and so we are a bit maybe torn apart. Maybe it is an advantage because we can enjoy like other things that we know from our childhood, or we are torn apart, because we don't feel we belong totally to the internet world and totally not to the institutional world or something.
Yes, and I think that there is a lot of nostalgia for Y2K, for example, in the millennials, but also for the younger generations. Yeah, they are pretty much excited about the times that happened before they were even born, and this is like something worth discovering. But you were wondering if making fun of millennials and all those inside jokes worked. Yes, they worked. They worked pretty much.
Thank you.
Yes. But I have also this experience of talking about this work with the younger generation. And I don't know, maybe if it's because the Gen Z and digital natives are pretty much offended by everything. They also told me that this work is kind of making fun of us. Yeah, it's not making. They were just like reading it really personally, and also talking about that what you have already told us. That everything in this work is about the past, about something that we had a glimpse into, and they haven't, and they were saying things like, "Oh, vaporwave, who is even interested in it anymore? It's not so exciting and not so interesting." But also speaking about the old gods and new gods. This work is also pretty much esoterical and also creating some kind of mythology from the technology and from the environment, especially digital environment that we live in. for example, an idea of smart occultism where the technology had some kind of magical or esoterical powers. In this video, and this is also pretty interesting for me because right now in the digital world, in the digital society, through memes and through all the social media, I can see that the amount of modern witches are pretty high right now. Yeah, the young people are searching for some kind of magical layers of the world and trying to explore totally different layers that our parents had, for example. Yeah, we are not searching for some higher power, but we are searching for a magical layers in pretty much everything. Yeah, so your work is also really spiritual in that sense.
What was the question?
I don't think it was a question. It was rather a remark. If you want to develop on that, that would be great. But yeah, but that was also really quite mesmerizing in all this, because in the aesthetic of the whole video, we can see the symbols taken from esoteric world, for example. Yeah, and what was the idea of using this kind of symbols and this kind of aesthetics that resolve to the magical powers and to modern witches, for example?
I have to say that Mythnix is a collaboration of three separate artists. Of Bernhard Garnicnig, of Karin Ferrari, and of me. And this is quite unusual because we all have our separate art fields, so to say. But we got along well, and we wanted to have fun together and make a film together. So each of us had to kind of let go of their own artist ego, but also like reach out to the other practices. So, and Bernhard, for example, he composed the whole Vaporwave soundtrack entirely on his phone. And I think he had loads of fun composing a soundtrack on his phone. And what concerns Karin Ferrari and me is that we kind of are both very much interested in this, let's say, spiritual dimension of technologies or a globalized world. Karin Ferrari, for example, deals a lot with conspiracy theories and sort of connects it with pop culture and makes like this decoding of music videos through, like, you know, conspiracy theories and symbolism and ancient stories and all that. And she's made that into her own art practice, which is very, very interesting. And I have also a kind of strange art practice, which is called cargo culting, which is to mimic technology in a very cheap way in order to let go of all this information that we are bombarded with. It's a long story. But what I wanted to say is that we kind of matched in our interests about how technology and the digital world is connected to the world of, let's say, mythology and occultism. And that is very much a connecting point between the artistic practices of us. And you're right, this is very interesting. I always said that my interest in, let's say, spiritual things and technologies is, well, firstly, the thing is that saying of Arthur C. Clarke, I think it was, every advanced enough technology is undistinguishable from magic. And what And it's kind of true. And I thought, okay, this technology is all supposed to fill a void, a spiritual void that we have with the sensation of wonder, you know, to say like, wow, how is this possible? This is amazing. And it's kind of serves, in my opinion, very religious desires at some point, you know, of salvation, if you take like the singularity, and of saving your soul in the cloud or something like that, and to create like this connected whole body and all that. Now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, but I always thought there are these religious underpinnings of digital technologies in its desire and in its creating a miracle or wonders, you know. And on the other hand, also I found it very normal that that people in today's globalized digital world cannot, as we talked about millennials and the old gods and the old ways of understanding and feeling the world, is not possible any longer. What we learned at school, say, okay, there is like causality and this has to do with that, and use your reason, you know, your rationality to understand it. It's simply not possible anymore. So you have to maybe, if the data input is too high, your rational thinking is simply, you know, overloaded, and you have to come to other ways of understanding certain phenomena. And they're like mythology, and like think of like monsters and ghosts and ghouls is easier to understand our world, because it is simply a model to, you know, to understand this world. And you cannot say, okay, explain this to me, you know, rationally, or like, what's your conclusion? It's just not possible. There's too much information. Yeah.
Yes, you are totally right, and I totally agree. And in this sense, I would like to talk a bit about the cargo cult itself, because I know this is a part of your artistic practice as well, and your projects done before were based on this idea. And while watching Mytniks, in the context of our Biennale's theme, which is REVERSO, I had this idea that in Mytniks we have something that we can call a reversed cargo cult, because you are not mimicking technology in this piece. You are discovering it on a totally new level. Yeah, technology is a kind of a portal to simulated reality, not making technology in very lo-fi, let's say, tools, but totally different situation. Yeah, like moving it around. Yeah, and if you could tell us about this cargo cult a bit more, yeah, to tell our viewers what it is and how does it connect to the Mytniks. Am I right with this reversed cargo cult or not?
In a certain way, I think you're right. It goes completely to the other direction. The cargo cult is more about mimicking forms and hardware and the things, I would say, exist without information. So to speak, okay, let's assume there was a solar storm and all the information was deleted from one second to another. What would be left? And we would be left with like the hardware, basically, the forms, you know, the computers, mobile phones. We could not use them, but they're still there. And Mytniks is completely the other way, to like completely leave this world of materials to completely like a gnostic gnostic dream, to like leave your body and completely live in the cloud, let's say. And so it's completely the other, it's reversed cargo cult. It's like, okay, you dive into this completely immaterial world of information, and there you get lost, you know, there it is like a dream. So But you asked about the cargo cult, and it is kind of my art practice, which roots in various cultural phenomena, like the cargo cult on Vanuatu Island, where the indigenous population at some point was confronted with Western technologies like airplanes and machine guns and radios, and supposedly in their animist mindset, the indigenous communities started to replicate this technology with their own materials and means, say bamboo airplanes and waiting for new cargo to come to the islands, you know. And I found this a very interesting thing because it is kind of a reaction to what is completely new to us, what we cannot understand. So I had the feeling we are in the West, we are doing the exact same thing. We don't understand things rationally anymore. We just want to engage with it and say like, let's do this, you know, like in a performative way that kind of, we don't understand it, but let's say, I want to form a dialogue with something I cannot understand because it's too far out. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is also really interesting context, and with this reversed cargo cult, I would like to ask you a question. If the people that are our main characters in the Mythnics, are they ideas of yourselves, of you, Karin and Bernhard? Yes, yes. So your character is pretty interesting, yeah, because he is Peter is a part of this technological world. He's a millennial working in a startup, and at some point he disappears in a woods, yeah, like we have seen in this video. But he has a great comeback. Yeah, and Peter had this chance to see the world as it is. And concerning the cargo cult, there is this moment when the characters are trying to build a new battery and join the world, the cyberspace under the waves, yeah, and you are using an iPhone to create some kind of a portal, yeah. So we have, let's say, someone who is in a quotation mark ingenious, and on the other hand, he needs this technology to create a possibility to escape this simulated reality for his friends. Yeah, that's why this cargo cult was, in my mind, pretty like very much not maybe symbolic, but pretty important for the whole notion of this video. And you are using a lot of symbols from today's culture. We have Teslas, we have lithium, we have iPhones, Tinder, emojis, everything just mingles into some kind of simulated reality. And there is also this this part when our characters are just leaving Fontana, the startup community, the startup city, let's say, and they are entering the real world. Yeah. So in your notion, the real world in the universe of Mythnics is the world without technology, without the electricity, maybe, without anything that is electronic, digital.
I think in the film it says the fake real world.
Yes, the fake real world. Yeah, the fake real world. But the original milk.
The original milk, yes. It's in the fake real world. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think you wanted to ask something about the characters, right?
Yes, the characters that are ideas of yourselves, and also as you were speaking earlier about the cooperation between three artists that have like some similarities, but also had to let go of their ego. In the movie, this is really clearly visible that the same situation a bit happens. Yeah, and my question would be if Mytniks is in some part like the mirroring, the reflection of the artistic practice and the artistic approach that you have to confront while doing this this piece, right?
I think it is. There is a lot of course, it is like about us as millennials and how we feel, and being part of this whole startup atmosphere, and being alienated, but also wanting to be together and work together and form a really deep connection with each other. Like, for example, during this film, we really became friends and traveled, and it was really nice on a personal level, you know. But on the other hand, we kind of have these characters of us in the movie, which is maybe a little bit of sort of like our alter egos, you could say. Like I'm this low-tech shaman who wants to live in the forest, but still needs an iPhone or something. And I would say I'm like the archetype of the wild man. There's something like that, you know. And this is kind of Karin's imagination of me. That I have this desire to leave the modern world and live in the woods and only make replicas of, you know, I don't know, phones from wood and so on. And also, like, Bernhard is also this reflection of his alter ego, as he got this startup called Super Good, which is kind of a very ambiguous startup, which is serving superfood at art events. You know, like a chai smoothie, soft ice cream, and it's very slick and very clean. And people are really disturbed because they say, "What do you mean this in an ironic way to, you know, make the catering at art events with superfood, or do you really believe in that?" And so this is kind of also a kind of alter ego personality of Bernhard, so to speak. So. It's kind of like, on the one hand, maybe our alter egos, and on the other hand, it's maybe it's a little bit, you know, not taking yourself too seriously in your art practice, and to say, like, maybe it's a little bit of a caricature also, you know.
Yes,
like with a twitch of an eye, or how do you say that? A bit like making fun of yourself again, you know. I'm this kind of guy and this kind of artist, yeah.
Yeah, so this is really a great approach. Yeah, that's really letting off your egos. Yeah, to make a caricature or satire of yourself, and this was even the characters have the same names. Yeah, as you do. So this is like the first thing that you are seeing in the movie, that hey, those guys have the same names as the artist that did it. Yeah. Yeah, what I would also want to talk about a bit, yeah, because as you said about this imitation, parody of yourself, what is also a part of your artistic practice is interest in Shanzai idea. Yeah, and while watching Mytniks, I had also this idea that it is really visible in it, because like everything is in some sort a parody of technological development, of post-growth, of making things bigger, more collecting data and collecting material things, yeah. So maybe a bit about this Shanzai and why you are interested in it so much, and how it is visible and present in your artistic practice as well, not only in Mytnics.
Shanzai, maybe you have to say one or two sentences for the viewers. What Shanzai is. It is kind of this. There's a really good book by Byung-Chul Han, which is called Shanzai, and it's a very Chinese phenomenon where you would copy things that work or that you like, similar to a cargo cult, where you also copy things. You have a certain fascination, let's say, with them. And also in Shanzai, it's also like, you know, that when you have like Chinese fake brands, for example, like Fuma instead of Puma, and Lacoste instead of Lacoste, and so on. And Shanzai, I find it very interesting because it fits in my artistic field, so to speak. You know, to fake things in a subversive way. You know, and in this fake process, in also cargo culting things, and also in Shanzaiing things, for example, to make like Shanzai Harry Potter books, so that are written from fans, and it's kind of, you know, it's very creative, and it's also very subversive because it is an appreciation. But it's also like a bit mocking it also, you know, it's taking away this big aura of luxury brands like Gucci and Nike, and, you know, it takes away a bit of this originality and a bit of this aura, and it says like, oh, I can take part in this, you know, I will just make a copy of that. And that's why I'm interested in also this Shanzai fits very well with the cargo cult, because it's like, you cannot say if it is an appreciation or a very mean appropriation, or if it is mocking, making fun of something. That's maybe, you know, that's the old times, you know. You can do things out of just some fascination, which is ambiguous. Yeah. That's maybe the point, yeah. And so, yeah, Shanzai is for me an interesting art practice, which is Shanzai is also like a pirate mythology, you could say, because Shanzai translates into the mountain village, where people would make their stuff, make their things away from state interference and government interference. So it's a kind of a sort of this mythology of the pirates community who makes their own stuff, you know, and with a, yeah. So that's a very interesting cultural phenomenon, which I very much like, and I like it also because it is so enabling, and it gives me so much artistic agency to actually do something and not be confused. Oh, I have no ideas and nothing is original. It's like, yeah, sure, nothing is original, so it's a party from now on, you know. You like it, you take it, you know. It's welcome to the internet, basically, yeah.
Yeah, that was what I wanted exactly to say. Yeah, the whole internet community is based on Shanzai. Yeah, everything is copied. But on the other hand, as you mentioned Gucci, in the House of Gucci movie, there is this scene where the art directors of this fashion house find that on the market square there are a lot of copies of Gucci bags, yeah, and the main character played by Lady Gaga says something in a way that, okay, that's maybe okay because this makes our fashion brand living on, yeah, because people, this shows us that people want and desire our products, yeah. So I think it cannot be like said that this is only good or only bad, yeah. Everything is based on it right now, and in the terms of art, yeah, this is also pretty interesting what you said, that everything has been done already. This is also a title of of the work by Grupa Azorro, Polish artists, and they had this also very, let's say, satiric video in which they are wondering if they could imagine a piece of art that hasn't been done already. Yeah, and they have just crazy ideas by, for example, exploiting batteries, and each idea ends with remark, but it has been done already. Yeah. So this is a bit in this whole idea of mimicking reproduction, and that art may be used all its tools and all its expressions to make new things, to make new ideas. But on the other hand, we have this situation that also you have done in Mythnics with Karin and Bernhard, that you took something that was already very well known and made something new from it. Yeah, took all the best parts from the millennial subculture, let's say, and created a totally new aesthetics from it. Yeah. And what I was going to ask right now, maybe while speaking about the aesthetics, yeah, the whole video is recorded in a very significant manner, that we have those image distortions from VHS tapes, and I was wondering if your inspirations came exactly from the VHS aesthetics and how it was done. But because I have this idea, and I want to ask you if it's true that all of the effects were done by some kind of filters taken from. Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, so this is also pretty interesting. Yeah, that you are using the medium, the aesthetics of the medium that you are also referring to in this piece. Okay, but is Mythnics a post-digital art or not?
That's kind of hard to say. I don't. I'm not quite sure what post-digital means today, because I've lost touch to the academic discourse. So what does post-digital mean nowadays?
But in your own let's say definition or something like that, because I'm not referring to academic research. Yeah, I am just referring to the general notion of something that is like post-internet art or post-digital art. Yeah.
Probably it's in some sense it is post-digital, but not in my understanding of post-digital, because I've developed a very, very specific notion of what is post-digital, but also I read like definitions of what is post-digital that I do not. That I'm not fond of, that I do not agree with. But there are, of course, definitions to say, like, post-digital is to have all media and all kinds of aesthetics at the same time. The post-digital is like to have like a hammer and an iPhone and a movie analog film camera, and you have all this ensemble of various media at the same time. So in this definition, Mythnics is post-digital, because you have like originally HD, very high resolution material, which is again like made look like if it was really low resolution, and then you have like animation, which was wonderfully made by Karin, and and then you have like this Stone Age low tech batteries, which I construct in the movie, and then again you dive into server farms and so on and so on. So this parallel existence of all aesthetics and all media, some consider, I think, as post-digital. Yes. So in that sense, yes, but I have kind of a different understanding of what is post-digital. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I don't think it's, but also it's only my personal opinion and my personal notion that it's really not, because we are using technological means, maybe in a sense of interpreting or reading the meanings and senses that are present in the work. As a commentary, it is post-digital and post-internet.
Yes, I would agree with you. As a comment, it is post-digital, but not as a film, as a piece of art. I think it is not post-digital. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be very interesting to make a post-digital work about digital world without using any digital tools, for example. Yeah, I would like to see something like that, I guess. Okay, and maybe one last question or one last remark, let's say, because you also said a few words about lithium before, and that also pretty much interests me, that you have found this, let's say, elementary particle of modern civilization. Yeah, that you have found something that is common for different grounds, for example, for technology and for psychology. And it was based on your own research, or maybe there were some kind of inspiration of looking for this elementary particle or something like that. Yeah.
I have the idea of lithium as, like this connection between a psychological world and a technological world. That was very interesting to us in the film, to say like, okay, it's an element, what? And it is in as an antidepressant. You can ingest it, and it affects your psychology, your psyche. And then on the other hand, you mine it right in Austria to make batteries and Tesla batteries and so on. And that was fascinating. Kind of it unlocks in Mitniks, unlocks this. It's like a gateway from technology to a psychedelic experience, psychedelic road trip that we have. But I came up with the call to adventure to the others, to say, let's find out about this, let's do this first. But of course, I did not come up with it by myself. There is this wonderful art piece which deals with lithium, but I only heard it from as a story. It is, I think, about an artist, female artist, who was really, really ill, and really went on a sort of pilgrimage to the lithium caves to meditate in there. But I wanted to research it, but I did not find it. It's, I don't know, maybe somebody knows what it is, but there the meme, so to speak, was implanted from this artist who did this. I could not find her, but this meme about lithium came from another artist, of course. I did not come up with it, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great about this lithium. I really love the idea of finding this something that joins everything. And have you been the set of the movie? Have you really been in a lithium caves or lithium mines? Yeah, yeah. And is it possible to scratch it from the walls?
We have been to the lithium mine in Carinthia in Austria. And this was also like a really nice coincidence that we were interested in that. And then we say, what, did you know in Carinthia there's this huge lithium mine, and it is bought up by like global players, and they're actually really Gaston Glock from the Glock gun imperium has really big grounds there and so on. So it's a really weird story. And we took a road trip there and kind of licked the stones and so on. But I don't know, I leave it to your imagination, because lithium, to purify it, it needs a very specific chemical process. So it is, when you observe a core sample, which we did, you know, like you can see the lithium as kind of a light sort of mineral or something. But, and then also people are said to, in this region, they do not struggle with depression or something. Yeah. Depression levels in this region where the lithium mine is are very, very low. And I researched it. There's even also, they sell like some water from this area, which is supposed to be more lithium in it. So it's like a happy water or something. But yeah, it's very weird. But I'm not a scientist, but I highly doubt it that that it actually works like that. Yeah.
Or maybe it's the situation like in Fontana, they are just adding
to the drinking water. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It was a very interesting talk. Thank you, Peter. Unfortunately, our time is over. I will just check if there are any questions from our online viewers here. No, maybe from the live audience. There are none. Okay, so I encourage all the viewers to see the Mitniks if you hadn't have any chance already to see it today at 8 p.m. on our YouTube channel. And again, thank you very much, Peter. I think this conversation would go on behind the cameras as well, because I'm the biggest fan of your work.
Thank you.
Here. Yeah, that's my favorite work. I can say so to the camera that this is my favorite video work from the whole Biennale. So once again, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to show it and to see it. And again, it was my greatest pleasure to talk with you today. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite all the viewers for the next event that will start at 4 p.m. and we will be streaming next REVERSO Redux event from Wrocław and from Fukuoka in Japan together. So thank you. It was my pleasure today. Peterem Moosgaardem was with me.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you and goodbye. Have a nice afternoon.